The Project Zomboid devs have given us a lot of awesome information on what's to come in Build 42 with this week's Thursday blog post. From the new expansions to the map and a bunch of new items, to some cool fishing stuff and beating chickens with a hammer, this Thursdoid brought it all. The first thing they talk about is what Iteron has been working on with the new fishing mechanics lately. He is quoted saying, "This week I've mainly been working on a unique random seed that procedurally determines where groups of fish will be located in Project Zomboid's waterways, the radius of different zones, and the base number of fish that could be found within them. You'll see this through splashes of water, which will depend on the groups of fish. So the more fish in the fish group area, the more splashes on the water's surface. As such, finding the best place for you to fish will be a big part of the system's revamp. Each group will react to the noise that goes on in the world too. So, if there's a loud noise, then the fishing circles will stop being active for a certain amount of time." They then say that you will also be able to craft chum, which you can use to attract fish. We are provided with a cool little video showing groups of fish, which are represented by the red circles, reacting to sound and disappearing as described. We also see them putting chum in the water, represented by a green circle. They also add that the Formosa team have helped to create some new sounds for when fishing gets its overhaul, and we get another video showcasing some of these sounds. The next thing that is discussed is the expansions to the map that have been underway. They write that they are at a key point in the map expansion where they are now able to have the testers go in and roam around to provide feedback and make sure everything is playable. They still are not ready for full-scale testing as there are still some loose ends to tie up, it seems, but it definitely sounds like a lot of progress is being made in that department. We are then treated to a really cool video that gives us a peek at some new areas, which is what you've been seeing as I'm talking about this. Exploration is one of my favorite parts about games like this, so even just these small clips gets me very excited for some new additions to the already wonderfully vast map. Going back to some sound things, we are informed that Formosa has also been working on improving the music escalation in the game. More information on this will be talked about later, but for now they tell us that basically the suspenseful music will not be lingering for as long after you escape from a zombie. This is something that I have noticed myself, and I do agree that it goes on a bit too long sometimes, so it's nice to see that that will change. They are also getting a recording session together to collect the sounds of Americans in pain and agony along with some grunting to use in the game, which will add more life to the player's character. Some more sound effects they've done so far are for pigs and piglets, chickens, breaking furniture, the emergency broadcast, and cork pops, among other things. Next, they proceed to beat a couple of innocent chickens and then promise to make the visuals for it better eventually. After that, we get to see a mini trailer with a whole bunch of new item-related things coming to the game. This includes, but is not limited to, matchboxes, insect repellent, tackle boxes, new duffel bags including a police one, compasses, magnesium strikers, and a fire starting block. As far as these items go, I am very happy with them adding new camping and outdoorsy stuff because the camping experience in Zomboid is already great and it can only get better with more depth. We also get to see new names and titles for literature since they didn't have them before, and also new food and drink names with a new animation for eating. This is especially cool to me because I was always curious what flavor chips my survivor is eating, and now I will know. We get to also see how the compass will work, and it looks like you will just need to click on it and it faces you in the direction and tells you where it's pointing. Lastly, we get to see that tents are now placed like other furniture instead of with right click, and you can also now store items in your tent because of this. Lovely little animals. Lovely little dead animal. Our blog post for this week gets wrapped up with a message that gives us a better idea of when the next build might actually be released. Apparently, a lot of people seem to be thinking the update is coming soon, but in an effort to not get anyone's hopes up, the development team writes, "Just to underline, we're still not at a point at which a 42 unstable release is at all imminent. There's still loads to do with our primary advancements to engine, online multiplayer, crafting, and whatnot." Although this doesn't sound very exciting, it is to be expected as I'm sure there is so much more work than we can begin to realize going into an update as big as this for a game as big as this. So it is best to be patient with the team because we wouldn't have such a great quality game if they didn't make sure to take their time to create it as best as it can be. Based off of the way they are sounding to me though, I would guess that Build 42 could possibly come by the end of the year, but if not, for sure in 2024.